I'm Helen Burney, President of the Charcot-Marie-Tooth Association of Australia. It is my great pleasure to announce a new fundraising partnership between CMT Australia and the Northcott Neuroscience Laboratory at the Anzac Institute based at Concord Hospital here in Sydney. Between now and June 2027, CMT Australia aims to raise $50,000 to support the Northcott Lab in purchasing the tangible consumables needed for their CMT-related research. All going well and conditional on an annual review, we hope to continue the partnership for 5 years, raising an additional $50,000 each year. We are just beginning. I am delighted today to interview our new partner, the Director of the Northcott Neuroscience Lab, Professor Marina Kennerson. Welcome, Marina. You've dedicated much of your career to CMT. What first drew you to the field and what has kept you passionate about it?
Hi, Helen. It's a pleasure to be here to have this interview with you. I've been working for inherited neuropathies for over 30 years, and what has really kept me motivated is the people behind the science. I think every family that I meet reminds me of why this work is really important and why it matters. And while we've had enormous progress in understanding the genetics of CMT, there is still so much more to discover. And every new discovery brings us closer to better diagnosis, better care, and ultimately developing new treatments. So this is really what has driven me for many, many years to work in CMT.
Your team has made internationally recognised breakthroughs in CMT research. Could you share 2 discoveries that you are particularly proud of and why they matter to families affected by CMT?
Well, I think one of the major achievements of our laboratory has been discovering entirely new genes responsible for CMTs, genes that have never been known to cause the disease. And with every gene that we identify, this means that more families finally receive an answer after many years of uncertainty. And I think one of the second achievements, I think, is always being able to have the opportunity to work on the edge of cutting-edge technologies. And we're particularly excited about using long-read sequencing, which is allowing us to uncover genetic changes that with traditional technologies have simply been missed. And this is helping us to solve cases that have remained unexplained for decades and is opening up entirely new avenues for treatment and research.
Well, speaking of that, CMT Australia has recently invested in your research by helping purchase the Oxford nanopore Promethean P2S long read sequencing platform. How has that investment accelerated your work?
Well, it's really been transformative to actually be able to do this work in-house in the laboratory. The technology is allowing us to read the genome and gene messages in much greater detail than before, and it's helping us to detect these complex genetic changes that were previously invisible. We've already used it to investigate families whose genetic diagnosis remain unsolved despite years of testing. And every solved family is providing answers and improving future diagnostic testing and teaching us more about the biology of CMT. And I think this is a really wonderful example of how community fundraising directly enabled scientific progress for us.
Okay. You work closely with leading CMT researchers around the world. Why is international collaboration so important, and how does it benefit Australian CMT-affected families?
I think with CMT, individually it's rare, but collectively it affects many thousands of people worldwide. And I think no single laboratory can solve every challenge alone. And that's why it is so important that we have these collaborations. And through these collaborations, we're sharing data, we're validating discoveries, we're developing global clinical studies and helping ensure Australian patients benefit from the latest advances happening anywhere in the world. And of course, when we actually make discoveries, it also means that they can have a worldwide impact. So it's very important that we have these international collaborations and work together towards solving as much CMT as we can.
This partnership is designed to support your research over the next 5 years. Looking ahead, what do you hope to achieve during that time?
Well, I think as a gene hunter for CMT, my job will be done when every CMT patient has a diagnosis. So I'm hoping that our goal is to solve more unsolved family, to discover new disease genes and mechanisms, and to understand how those genetic changes are damaging the nerves. But just as importantly, we want to translate those discoveries into new diagnostic tests and identify promising therapeutic targets that can eventually lead to treatments. So I'm hoping that by the end of this partnership, I hope we'll have provided answers to many more families while we're laying the foundations for actually future clinical trials.
The CMT community hopes to invest around $250,000 through this partnership over the 5 years. For someone making a donation, where will that money go and what difference will it make?
Well, I think important thing to know is that every dollar goes directly into the research. It will help us purchase sequencing reagents, generate genomic and transcriptomic data. We can grow patient cells in a dish. We can perform the laboratory experiments. And importantly, we can provide the resources to train the next generation of scientists who will work on CMT. Research is often limited not by ideas, but by resources. So most importantly, I guess every donation helps move us closer to answers for families still searching for diagnosis and ultimately towards treatments that can change lives. And this partnership really will allow us to pursue ambitious projects that simply wouldn't happen without the community support.
Finally, Marina, what message would you like to leave for everyone who supports this research partnership through their fundraising and their donations?
Well, I think what I'd like to say is that I want every donor to know that they are genuinely part of the research team. Every fundraiser, every community event, and every donation, it helps make discoveries that would otherwise not be possible. I think we need to understand that scientific breakthroughs don't happen overnight, but they happen because communities believe in the possibility of a better future. And together, I think we are turning that hope into progress. So I'm incredibly grateful for the trust and the partnership of the CMT community.
Marina, we're very grateful for your research work. And thank you so much for speaking with me today. For those of you watching, we welcome any donation that you might like to give. The link for how to donate is coming up on the screen shortly. Thank you, and bye for now.